I think we really lift out each other. Some races I've been relying a lot on Jenny, and some other races she's been relying a lot on me, and we have that trust that we'll make out the best, and we know what to tell each other when one is in pain or has a harder moment.
Yeah.
Low Tide Boys, a Swimrun podcast. I'm Chip.
And I'm Chris, and this is episode 112 of the show. We conclude this year's Partners Month with the amazing women's team of Jenny Ramstedt and Diane Sadik, A.K.A. Team Kraken Swimrun. They are two of the most experienced swimrunners out there, literally, and it was great to finally have them on the show to chat about their enduring swimrun partnership, ÖTILLÖ, and of course, fika.
Always fika with the Krakens.
Yeah, always.
Always fika.
Yes.
Which is why we love them.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. But first,
training updates. So, checks watch. Swimrun Lake James officially 2 months away.
Yeah.
So after this cold front kicks out of town, I say it's time. We can't delay it anymore. We probably have to get into the cold water, get those transitions, do some rust busters, get out and do some swimrun practices. Hashtag pray for us.
Yeah.
But we have been enjoying our trail runs.
Yeah, the solid 2 hour trail.
2 hour. I've been looking forward to those every weekend. Although last weekend we
had to split up.
We split it up and we did it on different days.
Yeah.
And on my run, I did the same route Chris did because he stole he stole it from me. My what is it called? Local legend on Strava. So I had to correct the injustice, and it didn't give it back to me.
Yeah, it's because
I have to run it. I tied you, and then I have to go.
Exactly.
Okay. But I was going along the run, and whenever I see something, I'd take a picture and text it to Chris. Like, did you guys come this way? Like a gate got busted down. I thought maybe he lost the brakes on a downhill and barreled through the cow gate there. The cows were out in force. They were asking about you.
I'm sure they were.
Now on to this week's shoutouts.
All right, this week we're shouting out Sebastian Ekberg. We recently shouted him out as at Radberg for creating a cool design for us for a 100K download sticker. But he's getting another one for becoming a patron on Patreon. Thanks so much for the support. And we've said it before and we'll say it again. You're rad, dude. Thank you.
Nice. Stay rad, Berg. Now, for this week's Feats of Endurance. This week's winner is Henry Amon from Tanzania, Africa. He joined us on the Strava Club, the Low Tide Boys Strava Club, and he posted a really cool looking ride there over the weekend. And we were just blown away to see workouts coming from Africa in our feed.
I know.
And how cool that is.
So crazy.
It's and we looked to reach Henry, it would only be a 22-hour flight from SFO.
Yeah,
so
no worries. You can come to us.
Yeah, we'll see you. We'll see you somewhere else, I guess. Now for this week in Swimrun.
All right, welcome to the LTBZ News Desk. Swimrun Canadias recently posted that they're postponing this year's Fuerteventura race due to COVID. A new date will be announced soon, but we don't have any more information than what they shared on Instagram. ÖTILLÖ announced that they have open registration for Swimrun Cannes. New for 2022 is a brand new race course, and all three distances, the Experience Sprint and World Series, will all take place on October 15th. If anyone is looking for a super picturesque but still super challenging swimrun event in the south of France, well, need I say more?
I mean, the photos
awesome.
Are unbeatable from those. It's tough to beat.
I mean, the race sells itself, I think.
Yeah.
New course looks cool, though, too. Looking to race an Odyssey Swimrun event in 2022 but missed the early bird registration pricing? Well, have no fear because they are hooking everyone up with 15% off registration for all of their events. All you have to do is use the code LOWTIDEBOYS at checkout. So make us look good, use the code, sign up for these events, and we will see you out there.
Boys with a Z, just like how we spell it.
Yeah. Just take the spaces away.
Smush it all together.
Yeah.
Low Tide Boys. 15%.
Boom.
Wham, bam. Thank you.
That's it for this week. Feel free to reach out and let us know if there's anything you'd like for us to mention on the show.
Yes. Now for Low Tide Boys updates. We have a really exciting programming alert. we have legendary endurance coach Joel Friel coming on the show. Full stop. What the triathlete's ultimate training Bible. That's his work. Super stoked. Joe will be joining us on the show in a few weeks, and we'll be focusing our training considerations for older adults getting into the sport of swimrun or sport in general. Big shout out to Bill and Christy Langford on the show. They had this idea and they shared with us. We thought it was really awesome. So we're going with it. If you have a question for Joe on what it takes to things that you should consider when you're getting into training as an older adult, whatever you consider that is, send us a DM or an email with your questions for Coach Friel, and we'll have a chance to have them be asked on the show.
Yeah.
So send those over to the lowtideboys@gmail.com or in our DMs on Instagram. Now, we know ÖTILLÖ Catalina was postponed, but fear not. The Low Tide Boys have teamed up with Onville Swimrun, Wild Swimrun, to throw what we're calling the Catalina Swimrun Adventure. So if you're still coming to Catalina Island for that race weekend, or what was formerly race weekend, where the fun starts on Friday, March 18th, we're doing a beach cleanup group activity, something that ÖTILLÖ had done there before that we just like that. So we're throwing it on there again. On Saturday, we're going to have a longer swim run. Starts at 11 a.m. So if you're coming from the L.A. Long Beach area, you can make it over on one of the first few ferries to participate in that swim run. And then on Sunday, there's going to be a shorter swim run, followed by a brunch, and then an additional afternoon trail run, followed by a beach stop and a little mini fika thing going on. So there's so many details on this. If you're interested, head on over to RSVP on Facebook. That link's in the show notes, or shoot us a DM on Instagram, and we'll get you all the details there.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And
I'll be there.
You will be there. And those swim runs are happening from Avalon, which I think is important to know. So you don't have to try to find a way to get to Two Harbors. Which seemed,
thank you.
It seemed prohibitive if you didn't have your own boat.
It was, we looked for ways to kind of replicate the original Catalina course, but without that sort of chartered giant ferry that ÖTILLÖ swung to move all the athletes to and fro. We were our hand was forced to start in Avalon. So much easier to commute in for the day and head back. And you could be back Saturday on the mainland and then go watch Chris run the LA Marathon on Sunday.
That's true.
Low Tide Boys are busy on March 18th. I'll just tell you that. A lot of miles accumulated.
Too busy.
All right. Without further ado, let's get into it with Team Kraken Swimrun with Ginny and Diane.
Yeah, it was really great to chat with them. I mean, there's so many people that we follow on Instagram that we sort of look up to, not just because they've done a ton of swim runs, but they're just because they're great ambassadors for the sport. And, you know, Jenny and Diane are just amazing people that happen to be super experienced swim runners. We chatted with them about a ton of topics, including their approach to training, racing, what makes Desiree Anderson such an amazing swim runner, which I thought was really interesting. And, of course, the Kraken Swimrun fika traditions, which, are amazing. We love it.
Yeah.
They also gave us some great insight and some solid gold tips.
I already started my tips. I already started enacting on them.
Yeah, I mean, they're just so good for preparing for and racing ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship, that, as Chipper mentioned, we will 100% be following. Anyway, this was a great conversation, and we know that you will enjoy it as much as we did. They're just amazing.
It was great, and I love sort of their balanced approach to sort of racing kind of the season. They both, Jenny's really into cross-country skiing, and Diane's into, what we would call it climbing or rock climbing, but there's a better word that she used for it that probably more accurately describes it. But it was great, and it just, their whole approach to everything was wonderful. So
yeah, it seems so, it's refreshing how balanced. I mean, I feel like, speaking for myself, I get out of balance, and I like,
totally.
But it's nice. It's nice to see
balanced.
that you can still race a ton and still find a good balance and have a lot of fun in the process, which is what we're trying to do. So we honestly, this is a great way to close out Partners Month.
It's great. Yeah. So this brings Partners Month to a close, but get your fika situation ready and get ready to enjoy Ginny and Diana, Team Kraken Swimrun. Get your fika on.
today we have Team Kraken Swimrun to close out Partners Month for us. Jenny Ramstedt and Diane Sadik. Jenny is a super experienced swimrunner with over 25 swimruns, according to Swimrun Watch. She raced 9 races in 2019 alone. Diane Sadik is also no slouch, super experienced with over 20 swimruns. If that wasn't enough, they're part of our favorite Swedish swimrun crew, Kraken Swimrun. Welcome to the show, Jenny and Diane.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Exactly. Yeah, we're super excited to have you guys on and to close out our Partners Month. We have a bunch of questions for you, but I guess the first question is, you guys have raced a lot. A lot. What is it about swimrun that keeps you doing it? Do you just, what is it about the experience that makes you want to sign up for all the races?
That's a good question. I don't know. So sometimes during a period, you don't feel for racing at all. And then when it gets closer and closer, you get this like, maybe we should. Then suddenly you are registered.
It happens like that sometimes over here too.
Yeah.
I think it's exciting. Every swimrun race is unique. There is nothing like in the other sports. Like a marathon is a marathon. There is the crowd, but swimrun is really, you don't get to do that on the same course unless you have a crew with you. And I think that's an experience that is unique to each of every race. And then you like the race and you want to go back and do better, or go back and relive the experience. Yeah, I think. And also the team aspect is really nice, because you're never alone in this. So you go together with your partner and with your friends and
with Desiree.
with Desiree and Victor also. And then it's like kind of a great weekend also.
Yeah, and you guys are part of the Kraken Swimrun crew, who we're big fans of you all there. And that we have similar athletic crews here that when a race, we're thinking about doing this race. Once somebody just tosses it out tosses the thought of the race out, then everyone else is like, I kind of like that race, and then everyone piles on. Is it a similar situation within the Kraken Swimrun about this sort of cascading effect? When one person signs up for a race, everyone else wants to join on in the fun and make it a whole group adventure?
I think it's a bit more spread out. We kind of sign up to different races, unless they're in Sweden, where we are almost all there. But
and sometimes there are some injuries in Kraken.
Yeah.
I agree. So maybe it's a bit more spread out.
It's a little bit spread out, but still, like when we go to a race, we know that they follow us, and then it's kind of still a team spirit. When we come back, we have a fika with the
cake.
The cake. So it's like you bring it home for the team.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh.
I love it. Now, you guys have raced a bunch together, but you've also raced with a lot of other partners, both in women's and mixed. And I'm just curious, with all that experience, what are the qualities that you look for in a partner, and that you think, sort of in the same vein, does racing with different partners make you a better swim runner?
From my point of view, the reason I choose to race with Jenny is that she's known me for a while, and she also does other sports like skiing. I do other sports like mountaineering and climbing, and I know that she knows I'm serious when I race, but she gives me the freedom to do whatever I want around, and know that if I say yes to a race, I'll do my best to be ready for that. And I think that that's one big reason I wanted to race together with Jenny, whereas maybe other people would be more requiring me to run a certain amount or swim a certain amount, which the last years I haven't really been in the mood to do so. And the same for Jenny.
I think we both are like more overall athletes, or like sports freaks. And I think for both of us, at least, we both love the mountains. And I think that's also one reason why we really like the Engadinski swimrun race. And also, like Diane said, we've been doing a lot of things together for a long time, and not only in the pool or in the lakes or in the sea or running, so other things around. And I think that also makes you that you're not injured as much as maybe a few others, and also giving the joy to just be out doing things. We have also talked about doing ski races together, and I hope we will be able to do that this year if we manage to get the weekends together.
Yeah, another thing is I haven't raced that much swimrun with women, and I think with Jenny has an opportunity to, like, I think we really lift out each other. Some races I've been relying a lot on Jenny, and some other races she's been relying a lot on me, and we have that trust that we'll make out the best, and we know what to tell each other when one is in pain or has a harder moment.
Yeah. I also, for me, my personal view is that I just want to race with anyone just to race. I want to race with someone I like to hang out with, and especially during a long race. You want to have a good friend as well, not only someone that you meet the day before,
definitely
never met, and just for a result. That is not at all.
That's not the motivation. Is to share the experience with someone that you care about and have fun out there. Yeah, I love that. Now, speaking of having fun out there, last year you both raced ÖTILLÖ, the Swimrun World Championship, but with other partners. How did that happen?
Jenny had a partner already since a while.
Yeah, I was qualified. Yeah.
And I was kind of waiting to see if she was gonna go with her or not. And like, I think it was within 2 days we kind of I got a question from Isabel, and I went with her, and then Jenny changed teammate last minute for another teammate because both teammates were injured. And that's how it happened like this, and we knew we would be fighting with each other. There was a big tough, it would be third or fourth, or like fighting for a podium.
I was waiting for Diane to come closer and closer. I know she's very endurance.
So one thing in swimrun, I think, is that you're very loyal to the person you qualify with, and Jenny stick to that, which I respect. And then I guess she understood that I got a question to race, and I took the opportunity. I was qualified in mix with Knut that I raced in 2019, and he decided to not participate this year. So last year, so I was not really planning to race until I got the question from a really promising new swimrunner, Isabel Norstedt, and I think it was great experience to take someone new in with such a great talent, I would say.
I mean, great result. I mean, you came in fourth in that division, which is awesome. Now let me I feel like I'm asking all the questions, so I'm sorry, Chipper, but one thing that we see, and we pay attention to Wild Swimrun, and we're all about helping grow the sport, but specifically more women in the sport. And what do you think we need to do to get more women into the sport of swimrun? Sorry, it's a heavy one.
Tricky question. I can just maybe I'm just thinking of what has happened in the ski season this year. If you look on this Visma Ski Classic, for example, how much more women they got, and how big the women competition has been compared to previous years. But I think ÖTILLÖ, for example, if you mention them as a big, like the one that are like sort of leading this with the experience races. I think that is a great way to lower the hurdle to enter the sport. The shorter distances.
I would say that now it's at least last year, it's been a lot of strong women teaming up together, like Ulrika and Marika, or Annika and Joanna, and all these women that were previously sometime racing in mix or sometime only racing in mix that teamed up together. I think that shows example that's where swimrun can go. Like it's that you don't have to be in a mixed team to do well, because these are like a lot of women team do very, very well, and we are not that much behind men team or mixed team. But also, I think that what happened on ÖTILLÖ last year to have only women start was really like it was another race dimension. You didn't try to take a mixed team or men team feat. You were really with your own group, and it felt like that we felt stronger to pass teams because we were not getting passed by men or mixed team all the time. And I think it's a really, really nicer experience that way.
I also think that maybe women that are not used to race, maybe in the World Series races or longer races, if they have their own race in just the women's starting feed, I think they would be more comfortable doing so than maybe race against hundreds of men that are like a bit.
It's intimidating.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's and also, as you said, Diane, the atmosphere of that race was fantastic, and I hoped that they will continue with having two separate races as well. But that is also both ways, because it's also nice sometimes, I think, to race against men and in the mixed class. So it's not just black and white, but it was a great experience at the really.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. So what I'm sort of hearing is a little bit more approachable on the distance wise, and I saw that both of you raced the EX Arc Super Sprints swim run, which is it's like the total opposite end of ÖTILLÖ. It's like the shortest.
That was super hard.
Talk about range. They can do the longest and then the shortest.
Now I realize that's like a track meet for swim run, if you will. With a 1K run and 200-meter swims. It looks like you all did it in under 8 minutes. So that was your entire race day. Congratulations. So I think there's somewhere in between ÖTILLÖ and EX Swimrun, and then having the kind of the protected category, if you will, or just just women's only start corral. I think they've been experimenting with that as well in triathlon. I know like the Ironman races, they'll have women on a different day, or they'll put a lot of gap of time in between it, so it's not facing the issues that you guys are that you all are talking about. How was that super sprint race? Is it a nice to mix it up?
It was great fun, but it was, as Diane said, extremely hard.
Yeah,
a shocker for the heart.
I hadn't trained so much in the winter 2021.
And it was really early, I think, on the season.
And I had done like a 3 or 4 hour trail run like 2 days before. And I hurt my foot. So I remember that I went to the masseur. I went to Igor to fix my foot like quarter of an hour before the race. That was my state. I was hoping my legs would hold, and then the cold swim also.
It was really cold in the water.
But I think it's great to have this kind of format that was
different formats are good.
Yeah, I know. Also, kind of, it's quite near Stockholm, and it's a lot of people that were watching, and I think it was it's great that different formats come. And
are you guys gonna race it this year?
I signed up.
I will most likely have something quite big the week before, so I'm a bit hesitant.
Okay,
but I would love to, because it was really great fun day.
Yeah, it is.
I still smile every time I see those photos because on Instagram they popping up every now and then from when they are marketing the event.
So Chipper just asked you about this huge range that you have in the different events that you've done. Is there a particular event or a couple of events that are, dare I say, your favorite? I mean, you mentioned Engadin because it's in the mountains, but what are your favorite like races that we should put on our bucket list essentially to race? Which ones would you recommend?
Like Engadin is in the mountain, but I'm from Switzerland, so my parents are coming every year to cheer.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, when I was in triathlon, I remember Engadin started and I was like, I'm never going to do this strange sport. Like I told a friend, like I'm never going to do this sport. It's really strange. I don't see the concept of running with
in a
wetsuit, blah, blah, blah. And then I did 5 times Engadin. So,
and counting.
And counting, yeah. And then, so this one definitely it's a magic environment.
Yes.
Also, if you come with family, there is tons of things to do.
I was there just now, a couple of weeks ago, skiing. And it was such a lovely feeling when I came down to the lake in St. Moritz. Yeah. And then the day after I ski on the Silvaplana lakes. And it was like, wow, I love this place.
Did you go swimming?
I actually saw a small part where I actually could, but I didn't have anything with me, so I could
right.
jump
That's
in
my
or
excuse
actually jump
too.
out.
I forgot my goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it was
it
was amazing.
Yeah, another one I would say is ÖTILLÖ, of course.
Yeah, ÖTILLÖ always.
They keep renewing the course, and the course last year was so much trail. It was amazing. Yeah, I really hope they keep it next year.
Less gravel and more
trail.
Exactly, more cliffs
and really nice cliffs. Swims also.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that it goes on the end of ÖTILLÖ is really like kind of mythic.
Yeah. That was good. And a favorite I have is Cannes. I love that course because that course has everything. You get the city, you run on the red carpet, you are out on the islands with the monks, and then you are in the jungle suddenly. And I think it's an amazing course, and 2 hills that you can climb up.
And a little warmer.
Yes.
It was warm.
Yeah, very warm. Very warm indeed. But it's lovely. And then this year was spectacular when they had this underwater exhibition.
Oh, I saw that.
That was cool. But that's for me at least, it's a lovely race.
You know, that race, when we found out that Catalina was canceled or postponed, excuse me, that race was coming up, and I just happened, because I love France, I happened to look at flights to Cannes, and it was actually pretty cheap. It was like from San Francisco, it was like $400 or $450, and I was so close to just being like, "Hey, Chipper, you want to spend a weekend in France?" But I don't think our wives would have been too happy with us. But yeah, that's a race. I think definitely last year's race, just all the photos and everything, it just looked
amazing,
like the perfect race.
Yeah, and also exactly this year where they had the area around the Martinez Hotel, and also the hangout there the day before and the days after it's just top.
Yeah, but that comes also with every race. Like if you travel somewhere, people like kind of see the same crowd and new crowd and friends of people, and then it's always like.
But another race that is not part of the ÖTILLÖ World Series is, I think, Ångaloppet in Sweden in August is a really good fun race. It's up and down. It's very fast in that aspect. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to use the paddles, so only the pull buoy. Oh. But it's a fun race, fast and fun.
Yeah, also a great entry race for people that haven't tried before.
Exactly.
And for
family,
kids also.
Yeah, that one's it's a 22K, looks like, as a distance.
Yeah, for the kids.
No, it's 22 is the long.
22 is the long,
And then 11.
Then they have a sprint and then kids.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Oh, nice.
So it's a weekend, like
a whole weekend adventure.
I think,
and also the night one.
Yeah, now they have a night one.
Wow.
We came and slept. We slept in a tent there.
Yeah,
that was great.
So it's a good one, and especially as you said, like a good entry one for people that has not done a swimrun race before.
Hey, I'll have to get over my aversion to headlamps for that one, I guess. Well, I'll come to terms with that. Now, you both mentioned that you're doing other stuff. You skiing and rock climbing or mountaineering is probably the better term for it. How do you balance such a busy race schedule and multiple sports? It seems like you have a nice balance between when it's swimrun season, you're all about swimrun, but the second ÖTILLÖ is over, you get the skis out and all that sort of stuff, and family involved as well. So, love to hear from both of you sort of how you balance it all.
That's a good question. Well, for me then, luckily I found out a couple of years ago that swimming was really good for skiing, for the cross-country skiing, and skiing is very good for the swimming. It's the same sort of muscles you use on your back, in your back. So for me but it's quite hard when you don't want to give up anything, but you have to sort of concentrate a bit more on the other sport during the other season, so to speak. And I'm a season sport person. I think I like being out in the summer and be in the water, and then in the winter I like being on the snow. So
you love snow.
Yeah, I love snow. Yeah. Everyone knows that. So, but it's pretty hard, yes, to get everything.
Do you find that sort of when you're quote unquote off from the swimrun season, it kind of gives you that time and that space, for lack of a better word, to kind of recharge the swimrun batteries while you're focusing your efforts on skiing and not worrying about if you're hitting all the laps you need in the pool or all the Ks on the trail, because you know you are still working very hard, potentially even harder with the skis.
I think the problem is that I don't really reduce a lot on the swimming. Maybe one session a week max I lose out in the winter, but it's just to find more time for the skiing. I don't ski a lot in the summer. Well, I don't do any like sort of skiing things in the summer, which is the bad conscience constantly, of course. But
I must say I'm a bit less structured on training than Jenny. So, I love training, so I can almost say that racing is a good excuse to do all that training.
Okay.
To justify somehow to people, how are you training so much? I have these races. Yeah. No, actually, I train, and then when the race comes up, I race. But with Corona, I've been a lot less structured on swimming, and years prior to that, I had coaches, but now I'm coaching myself, or I do what works best for me. I mean, everything I do, I really love to do. So I have no issue waking up in the morning to go swimming, or going for a run. I kind of long for it. And then climbing, I have time with my friends, or sometimes I climb by myself. So we met because we had a common coach before, me and Jenny, actually, Nicola Ramirez from Envol.
Why are we not surprised? The
matchmaker,
the ultimate swimrun matchmaker.
Yeah, but finishing on training, I think I have.
And then you were the one that brought me into Kraken.
Yeah, true.
So very grateful for that.
I think I have friends that of all levels that I like to train with. So some harder session, I go with friends that are strong, and then some easier session, I
go with me.
Yeah, no, I go with friends that want to go together, and I make time for that. And I must say, I'm used to with mountaineering of a long day out, and I think that builds a mental for long swim runs, even if I don't have big endurance base right now, but I'm always out and doing stuff. Yeah,
So that sounds, I mean, I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist or anything, but that sounds like such a healthy approach to it. Just like, you take the races seriously, you go do your best, but you're not like out there trying to set the world on fire. Now it seems to me like it's important to, it sounds like Jenny is totally on board with that, which is probably what makes you good partners, because your goals are essentially in sync, right? Like Jenny, it doesn't sound like you're putting pressure on Diane to do anything, because when it comes to race, she's going to be ready and give you everything she's got. And it sounds like that goes both ways as well. Now, is that something that sort of developed over time between you two, or was just like an understanding when you first talked about sort of racing together?
I think that Jenny knew that I would not race with her if I got any pressure, because I was at a point when she asked me to race where I was about to give up kind of on swimrun, or not because I didn't want to have any training program or any bonds to anything that I have to do, because I love to do sport for myself. So in that way, she understood that I needed the freedom, and when I have the freedom, I do it. I mean, I just don't procrastinate on getting in shape or stuff like that.
But you're always in shape.
Yeah.
Jenny knows you're good for it.
Keep in shape with other stuff and unnecessary swim. Like prior to this year, I swam like once or twice a week. I admit I lost a bit my swim fitness, but in the end, it went well. And
it seems like you did just fine at the World Championship swimming, 10 kilometers.
I think it's quite good when we're both similar in the mindset that we want to be out and have fun when we're training, and also while the race should be fun as well. And it's not fun when you set a pressure on someone that is not not positive for the racing mind.
Yeah, and I think something great that happened this year is with Kraken, we organized, thanks to Thomas and Ugander, the one water race, and I got the opportunity to participate. And it really reminded me why I did swimrun, and it's all about that friendship and all the training hours we put together and supporting each other, whether it's outside training or in training, and all these people and friends that you see like 3-4 times a week. I mean, I don't see that often people anywhere else. So normal. A bit in climbing though.
But that's what we do. We go to ÖTILLÖ a few times a year for weekends, just having fun, like explore and like go out, no pressure, have fun and smile and enjoy it. And I think that's what gives you the motivation.
Yeah, I love that.
I feel and that's almost like the Kraken ethos, which is just like, train hard, get up early, go to the pool, but then fika is like mandatory. Cake after a race, celebrating, and that's something that Chipper and I would do years ago. Whenever anyone would do a triathlon, it was like a thing. There would always be sort of like the race report dinner where all of our friends would sometimes it'd be cake. Excuse. Usually our friend Tommy would say that it's his birthday, even though it wasn't. We would do all these things, but I love that about Kraken. And I think that's probably why Chipper and I, we sort of have an affinity for that group because of that whole vibe. And also Chipper loves coffee.
Yeah.
When I first joined Kraken, I remember I was swimming in the same time with them. They were called sub 55 at that time. And then that was for a sub 55 Ironman time, basically. That was their motto.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
And then they changed to Kraken, and it was Per Kristoffersson that got me in, and he told me, you can swim and fika, and you can swim and fika, or if you fika without swim is okay, but you can't swim and not fika.
I have to improve my fika, I think.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna have to start drinking coffee before we go to Sweden.
I'll take you under my wing, Chris.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly, we're very excited to be racing the World Championship this year. Everything goes according to plan. But one thing we're really excited about is meeting up with Kraken for a fika session at some point.
We're gonna crash your fika one time.
You have to.
Yeah, we chatted with Thomas and we loved his outlook on it. He's like, I'm the last one to the pool, but the first one to the fika. So
yeah, that's very true. He's never there on the warm up.
So I have a question. This is going to be a little bit off topic, but Can we just like have a little fangirl session about how awesome Desiree Anderson is as a swim runner and why? Can we agree that she's like the best swim runner of the generation?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can indeed.
Now, what is it about her? I mean, she's obviously super humble and a great athlete, but I feel like there's something more, and I don't really know how to pin it down, but you guys know her better than we do. Like, what do you think it is about her that makes her just such an amazing athlete? I mean, we already know she's an amazing person, but what do you think gives her that drive?
I don't know. You can start. Yeah, I remember I raced once with her in Engadin.
Me too.
That was her first long race.
It was.
And I remember I was more experienced. I was a bit injured, and then I wasn't sure I could finish the race like this year in Engadin too. And I remember we talked together with her, and like we discussed a plan. And I remember the plan was to start slow and finish hard because we didn't know how long she would hold up. But I knew she would hold up anyways because she's been training all her life in swimming. Yeah. She's an amazing swimmer. And the thing about her is like the whole race, she stuck to the plan and she gave it all in the end, the last 2 hours when we took up the speed. Like, she gave it all until like she cried on the finish line. And I remember that not once she complained or anything. So it's like she gave it all her heart in the race, and she gives all she can. And I think she's very I don't know, she's very competitive, but in the same time she's very much taking care of her partner, and she's very complete athlete. She's a great runner too. She also skis with Jenny now.
Yeah, now she's into cross-country skiing.
What's her fika like? Is she good at fika?
Yeah, she's good.
She's good at fika. That's good. Oh, and by the way, a little footnote to the Engadin. Both of you racing with her at Engadin. You both won the races that you partnered with her at Engadin.
Yeah. That was a hard pressure for me.
Yeah.
Because she's always winning, and I was like, what if we lose? Well, don't win.
Engadin is a long run race, but I'm from Switzerland, and I know that in that kind of race you have to hold it together in the long run, because if on the last 2 hours you're tired, you can lose a lot of time uphill and also downhill, because a lot of people forget that when you're tired, you can't run fast downhill.
Yeah. I think that's the worst part. Yeah. And the cold water. Sometimes it's cold, but
like this year, we really run well downhill in the technical, also in the last part. And I think that you need to be fresh in the head, otherwise you can injure yourself or make mistake or starting to really walk. And I remember that year we had really, really strong runners also in the mix. There was Ulrika Eriksson and Helena. They were racing, and also Helen and Michelle Nyström. They were really strong runners. So we were like, we need to swim well, but we also need to never stop running. What we did actually, we in the uphill in one of the uphill there were some zigzag. Yeah. So we thought that it's hard to run all the way, but we can run when the other teams behind see us, and when they can't see us, we walk.
The mind games, yes.
So it was a mind game. I think that works pretty good.
But I also think for Desiree, who always been a fantastic swimmer, ridiculously good. She improved her running so much. When I get to know her, our coach said, but Desiree can run with Jenny, it's maybe better pace. And now she's outstanding in running as well. So extremely fast.
Yeah.
So that one is a big factor. And what also makes her so, I think, complete is that you don't think that, but she's normally always having the man in the mixed, when she's racing in mixed, behind her. So she's taking all the swims, which actually makes her even stronger when you think of that, because that is hard. being in the front in the swim and then be able to push so hard on the runs with the like sort of a man that has been not taking it easy, but at least been able to rest a bit behind her in the swims.
Right. She's on all the time.
But she has one thing that she can improve though. That's her energy, the nutrition during the races. I think that she can improve a bit on that. She knows exactly what that is. I know.
That's a personal message from Jenny to Desiree. I'm glad we're able to deliver that message.
I remember I told her before of ÖTILLÖ, make a plan with Victor, because if one thing can fail in your team is the nutrition. I don't say anything else.
No, exactly.
Because they're both, at least Victor is pretty thin, so it's not like there is so many reserve. So if you mess up on the nutrition, you can really,
Noted.
before it then the A stage really.
Well, thanks for that. I think I have one last question for you guys, and this is a little bit self-serving for us. So our plan is to hopefully be at the start line of the World Championship in September.
You will exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's how everything's going. Can you give us some advice?
Help us.
Like what are the things, like, obviously we have a long way to train and stuff, but we're curious to hear, if there's anything that's worked for you in training or in sort of mentally preparing for this race, any sort of tips you can give us and other folks that might be racing for the first time?
I've been racing with a lot of good guys like Max and Hugo and Knut and Rickard and anyone starting with me at the World Championship, Isabel. Eat every 30 minutes. If you don't eat 30 minutes, every 30 minutes, you don't even start the race with me.
No, exactly.
Every 30 minutes.
This is like I remember before our first half Ironman, my best friend, I told her, you put an alarm on your watch.
Yeah.
Every 30 minutes, you eat something, half a bar, a gel.
And you tell your partner. Exactly. Now it's time.
Okay.
Now I'll take something.
Actually, this is a really good tip because this is like
Chipper needs this.
Me and Desiree, we're similar in a lot of different ways. We lead swims. We have great hair, and I have some opportunities on the nutrition side. So I like the 30-minute alarm. I'm going to do that.
And another thing is like, also if you feel like you're getting low on energy, don't hesitate to take a bit more. This year, I think the first 3K I ate 6 blocks and a gel. And we ran on the whole. I was not thinking I would be able to do that.
Speaking about Ona, my advice would be to, if you have the opportunity, if you're here some weeks before, maybe go out there and actually do that run, because it's so late in the race and it's quite hard. And try to visualize how it's going to be then when you're actually there on the race day. I did that the first prior to my first start in 2018, and it was great to have. When I came there, I had divided the island into different 5Ks part, that's a good one because it's so it's not so much fun at Ona.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've been racing all ÖTILLÖ except the last one in mixed, but you're a men team, so you're I don't. It's a bit different. But when I was racing this year with Isabella, I realized that the first third of the course has the most has half of the swimming, so it's 5K. So first, the one in front can get a bit tired from swimming, and then the one behind can get really cold because there is so short runs in between. So I remember Isabel, she took 1 or 2 swim there, which really helped me pulling harder in the next swims, and then also helped her to get warmer. So I think if you have similar level, even if one is stronger, maybe if the other one takes some of the swim there, it can really help the team.
Yeah.
Also mentally, because it's good for the head to change.
Yes, absolutely.
You hear that, Chris?
Those are great tips.
Leading some swims. Did you hear that?
Hey,
we were gonna email Mats and Michael and see if they would allow us to use a bike on Orno, like the old days.
Just take it old school.
Yeah, just a beach cruiser. Chris would be on the handlebars.
Yeah,
kind of navigate it.
Just put me in the basket. Yeah, those are really good tips.
Those
Thank
are some great tips there. we're probably going to use every one of them.
Yeah, yeah. Jenny, Diane, we can't thank you enough for coming on and closing out Partners Month. We've been wanting to chat with you guys for a long time, and we just really, really appreciate you both taking the time to join us today.
Thanks a million. It was really good fun.
Yeah, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in September.
We'll see you in September.
Hopefully before.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah, probably August 31st.
Okay.
All right, take care.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Bye.
Well, that's it for this week's episode. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave a review, since that's the best way to help other people discover the show and the sport of swim run.
Sign up for our newsletter at lowtideboys.com. That's boys with a Z. And check out our meme page at the Low Tide Boys on Instagram. If you have any suggestions for the show or questions for us, send us a DM or an email at lowtideboys@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Riding Easy Records for our show music, and of course our wives for their support and tolerance of all our swimrun activities, podcast, and other stuff.
Yeah, other stuff.
Way
to keep it PG. Finally, you can support our efforts on Patreon. Until next time, get out there and go for a swim.
Go for a run.
Then another swim.
Then another run.
And then another swim.
And then another run.
And then just keep going. Until you're done.
Until you're done. Or maybe can't
And then
stop.
stop.